That's a really important question. Dead people don't normally rise again, except in zombie movies. In fact, I think it's the most important question about Christianity. If Jesus didn't rise from the dead, well then Christianity is a lie. Now listen to this really big claim that the Bible makes about the resurrection. One of the early writers says, if Christ did not rise again, then your faith is futile. If only in this life we have hope in Christ, then we are of all people most to be pitied. That's very honest, isn't it? Paul, the man who wrote those words, could make such a claim because he had solid historical evidence that Jesus really rose again. For a start, there were many eyewitnesses who claimed to have seen Jesus alive. His friends, his biological family, even some of his enemies. And on one occasion, a group of 500 people who saw Jesus together, most of whom were still alive when the Bible was written, which means that they could verify what they had seen. These people didn't have a reason to lie about what they'd seen. In the first century, following Jesus meant persecution or even death, so you wouldn't want to lie if you knew you were going to get in trouble for it. Or think about another piece of evidence. The tomb was empty. It's an indisputable fact of history that Jesus' body was never found. And no one had a good reason for stealing his body. Not his followers, not the Roman authorities. If they'd stolen it, they just would have produced the body once the stories of Jesus' resurrection started circulating. And in the days before modern medical science, well, grave robbers would have no reason to steal a rotting corpse. It was of no value to anyone. Now, there's much more evidence that Jesus really rose again. You could read about it in a book like The Case for Christ. But three facts are clear. Jesus' body was never found. Many eyewitnesses claim to have seen him alive. And the early church exploded in numbers despite intense persecution. And I think the most persuasive explanation for those three facts is that Jesus really did rise again.